Yeah, these videos always start with us saying, "Is it recording?" So yeah, pretty sure it is anyway. So today we're going to be yes. So today we're going to be talking about something that we used to talk about a lot on the channel. It was kind of one of the founding things with this channel, and that was talking about superhero movies, but particularly the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Haven't talked about it in a long time, partly just because I lost interest. This is one more for the core who I've brought on this video. Exactly. That's your calling card. And because obviously you've carried on watching these, whereas I drew the line back in 2019 with Spider-Man Far From Home. Was it Far From Home? Yeah, it was. Yeah, but that was the name of it, wasn't it? What's the new one called?
No Way Home.
Right. Oh yeah, quite similar sounding name.
Yes, it's Homecoming.
Yeah.
No Way Home. I'm getting them wrong as well. But yeah, they've all got like a home motif to them.
Yeah, fair enough. I wonder what that's about. But yeah, so Far From
Somebody
Home.
thought it was cute.
Yeah, so Far From Home was the last one I watched. To me, it peaked and ended with Endgame, and then you've got like a sort of an epilogue for the entire franchise, as far as I'm concerned, with Spider-Man Far From Home. But they've done other stuff, and obviously they announced Phase 4 after that. I just said this is loaded with intersectional partisan politics, identity politics, all that kind of ideology stuff that's ruined movie franchises. So I'm out. Plus the fact that they were putting a lot of this, turning it into like repurposing it and turning it into television programs, which just weakens the whole thing. And it's not my kind of thing. I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the same reason. So a number of reasons. But anyway, that's me. I was kind of taking over a little bit because that's my thoughts on this. But you've carried on watching them, so what do you think?
Well, I'm not as hardcore as you in like, it's a TV show, I can't watch it. Like, my thought on it is like, if it supports, the film, then cool. But they have even to the point where I'm having to admit, like, they've kind of got to the point of just like, no, this is actually taken away from the films now.
Yeah, that was my worry because it was. I tried. I mean, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like for a series, it was kind of all right when it started out, and it did tie in quite heavily with Winter Soldier, but it was all the movies affected the show, not vice versa. Then Agent Carter was very good for a television show, and I think it did justice to what you saw in the movies, and it kind of complemented it a bit. And then you had the Netflix stuff, you had like loads of different series. Each one of those series had a second series, a third series. You've just got too much to watch.
Again, this is where we disagree. It's like, personally, I'd rather watch a TV show that I've not seen before than like the same film for the 57th time. But like I say, again, we're getting into just like differences of opinion there.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. But they just decoupled it. Because my thing is, I tend to watch all the Marvel movies, like not once a year, maybe less, because I haven't watched them for like maybe a year and a half. But it comes around really soon. And I like to rewatch them occasionally. But you can't sort of do that and have the full experience and watch series 1, 2, 3 of Jessica Jones, series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Daredevil, or however many like series you've got. And Luke Cage and Defenders and Punisher and Iron Fist and Marvel, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Disney Plus stuff. It's incompatible with the way I watch them. But if people enjoy them and they just want to watch it as a one-off, again, that's good. Good that you enjoy it.
Seeing it as like, if this adds something to like, basically just like, if you read like a comic book based on it or something like that, it's like cool if that like adds something to like the story of the film, like, and this is what's going on around it, like that's cool. And that's kind of what I was looking for from the Marvel shows. It's like, okay, so these are just going to be showing us some stuff that's happening around the film. I've already made my peace with the fact it's not going to be the same kind of like level as the films, because these aren't going to have movie budgets,
Yeah.
But at least it's not going to be a case of like, right, here we are in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., this is how we're closely tying into the movie. Except, the movies are never going to acknowledge that anything even existed here, not even like a slight nod, because, they're just like being really stubborn about it. So it's like, okay, well, there's going to be a bit of back and forth that's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, even I'm like, what the fuck now? I mean, it started out with WandaVision, which it was okay. I enjoyed it enough for what it was, but it was very much. It was a very weird show. It's one of those things. It's like I don't really mind this being like done as a TV show because she'd never made this into a film. The premise is just too fucking weird. And then we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that I just got bored of that. I like basically gave it up like 2 things before the end. I'm just like, I can't be bothered. Like this is genuinely kind of dull. I'm not like, even though I'm interested in like, okay, what was it like during the blip and what happens when people come back from the blip and stuff. That is interesting to me, but at the same time, it's like this isn't really that interesting. Like the bad guy isn't that motivated. Like I really don't care that they brought in like a load of people from Wakanda. I just don't give a shit. Like to the point where I just literally abandoned it like 2-3 episodes from the end. It's like I just know this is going to piss me off.
Were they sort of tying it in with modern like identity politics and like Antifa
I
and
don't
like
particularly
flag
think
burners
he
or
was
stuff?
doing that any more than you would normally expect from like a show with like one of the central characters being like a black guy. Like it kind of made sense. Like they were going to do at least a bit of a race thing. It's like, whatever. Yeah, more pissed me off with like they basically gender swapped Flag Smasher and made it an organization rather than just like one supervillain. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
But they were also seen to be really reaching towards the whole like, yep. She's sympathetic and understandable and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, so basically this is just a massive apology for the fucking Antifa riots. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not
Nope.
interested. It's like
Protests. No,
she's a
peaceful.
fucking terrorist. She blows stuff up. She kills people. I have very little fucking sympathy towards her.
No, she's mostly peaceful. I think you'll find. So
I
that's
mean,
how that works.
it was that kind of thing. There was definitely that sort of element to it.
Yeah. And then there was Loki, wasn't there?
Now, Loki was one of the ones that I would actually say was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked Loki.
Yeah. Didn't they do something though again with that where it was all about the female character or something like
Not really. I mean, it was basically all about variants, and yes, like the other one was like a female Loki, but that was mainly because they were setting up kind of a sort of love story between the female Loki and like mainstream Loki, if you get me. And
that?
it kind of made sense because if he was going to fall for anybody, he's narcissistic enough to fall for him fucking self.
Yeah. Bit like
So it's
Cat
like,
in that episode of Red Dwarf.
yeah, like I say, it's one of those things. It's like I don't particularly see like a massive like. I mean, they made like a really big deal of like, oh, there's this one bit where Loki says he might, fuck a guy, kind of thing. It's like, and like, yeah, he
Yeah.
like does a lot of like weird shit.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
heard
this
about that.
doesn't surprise me. I
Yeah,
mean,
because I think
even
a lot
going
of
to
people.
like mythology, Loki is known for like changing into like fuck it. I mean, he fucks a horse at one point in the fucking mythology and stuff. He's like, this is not the weirdest shit like Loki has ever fucking done. Like, calm
Yeah.
your tits.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that. I mean, like, and I thought if there was one show that did look like it would be all right, I thought it was the Loki one. But there's also this Black Widow. We're going to get to the movies as well because you've carried on watching them as well. But there's the
Again,
Black.
just when they're coming out on Disney Plus, I'm not paying for them. I'm not going to the cinema to them. They just don't fucking interest me. Like, and this is from somebody who's like a hardcore fucking like Marvel fan. And I'm just like, meh.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, yes, yeah. Look, well, they did the what ifs, which
Oh
I mean, it
yeah.
was an
Yeah.
animated thing. It was fine. It was a bit meh. And again, they were really trying to make something out of Black Panther's little sister and whatever the bodyguard woman's got. It's like I literally care so little about these characters. I can't even remember their fucking names.
Yeah, and I can't remember the other one, but I did like their characters.
Or something. It's like literally, I don't care about these characters. Like my main problem with Black Panther was they spend too much time worrying about the fucking supporting cast rather than like actually focusing on fucking Black Panther.
Yeah,
And
I can agree with that.
I'm not looking for a series which is just let's focus on them because now we don't have Chadwick Boseman. It's like, oh fuck's sakes. Yeah, Wakanda Forever can go fuck itself.
And to be clear, I think this was done before Chadwick Boseman passed away as well. So I don't think it was like because he did the voice for it. So obviously it wasn't before he passed away. But yeah, and I like the Black Panther movie. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I agree.
And then Black Widow. This should have been a great film. Like spy filler, featuring the Black Widow would be fucking awesome. But just the whole like threat level of the film just felt way too fucking low. It's like, okay, so we know she wins because this is set before like even the start of Endgame. So we're jumping way back in time. Like this is before even the blip happened. So we know for a fact she's just fucking fine. Like there's no big evil scheme going on really. It's just like, okay, I'm, what's his name? Ryan Wilson? No, something Wilson. What's his fucking name? The actor.
What? Which character was he in the film?
He was like the old guy, the like bad guy.
Ray Winston.
Ray Winston, that's it. Yeah.
Non-name remembering mofo.
Like he should have been like this, like lethal, like KGB spy master type who, like, taught her all the horrible things that she knows how to do, which she's subverted to become a hero. Yeah. And so she has to kind of work extra hard to fucking outsmart him and like one up him. But is this complete non-entity? It's like, I would not for a second doubt that the only reason he's fucking like training the Black Widows is just because he gets off on it. Like there doesn't seem to be any plan there. There's no master scheme. So it's like, well, I mean, he's not taking over the world. He's not trying to take over the world. It's not like she's stumbled on some massive like scheme. Like the the blonde Black Widow is kind of dull, and I'm not really interested in them. And it's just the film just feels really kind of shortened to even though it's not short, it's just very kind of meets up, does this, does that, does the other, sorts it all out. The end, like this doesn't feel like a very satisfying fucking movie if you makes any sense to you.
I just didn't like the look of it at all. It looked like a kind of a Sony movie from years ago, maybe like Amazing Spider-Man sort of type thing. But I mean, I didn't mind those films, but without anything that I liked from those films in it.
I'd say it was just literally like there are no like big odds here. There's no real enemy. The Taskmaster, who should have been a pretty cool bad guy, is ultimately just like a mute, brainwashed little girl. So it doesn't kind of. There's like no like major confrontation. It's like, he's kind of out of she's kind of out of Black Widow's league because they can do all the different Avengers stuff like Captain America's shield and like Hawkeye's bow and stuff because that is what kind of Taskmaster is. So it's like Black Widow trying to fight all the Avengers kind of thing, or like at least some of them. So it kind of makes sense that she can't beat them in a physical fight, but at the same time, it's like there's no emotion there. There's no like facing off between them because this person has literally got no personality. So at that point, it's like, well, this is all on like the one that programmed her dad, like the head of the KGB, like Red Room, and he's just like shit. Like he literally falls for her playing the "thanks for your cooperation" card. It's like, shouldn't he have fucking seen that coming? Wouldn't that have been part of her fucking training?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it have been a lot better if she kind of played that and he's like, do you really think that's going to work on me, Natalia? You fucking idiot. Like, I taught you everything you know kind of thing. And then while he's gloating, it reveals, well, no, I've kind of done I know that you know kind of thing. or like, I know, but you know that I know that you were lying, kind of, that's something like that, like a double kind of play.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like, nope, he's just a dickhead. He falls for it immediately because he's, straight white male, so he can't be like, a threat in any way.
Well, yeah, this is the the new ruling class Marvel Cinematic Universe, brought to you by the Wokarati, which seems to have taken over everything, but not least Hollywood and Disney and Marvel. Gina Carano found that out the hard way earlier this year.
Like I said, it's stupid because if he had been more of a threat, it would have made her victory mean more. But as it is, he's a bit of a pathetic joke. So the threat's a bit of a pathetic joke. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So just so we don't run out of time, then there was Shang-Chi, wasn't there, that you watched?
Yeah, I mean, it was better than Black Widow. It felt more like a Marvel film, but it was very bottom shelf.
Yeah, because you said it wasn't the worst movie, and I said, "What, really? So it's what's it like better than?" And because I was thinking what, like Incredible Hulk, Thor, The Dark World, and you're like, "Well, Black Widow."
No, I mean, I would put it down in the same sort of league as kind of the Incredible Hulk. But the thing is, I like the Incredible Hulk. I mainly just rate it so low because it's like,
it was
ultimately
early.
it's a kind of basic story and it's just a big CGI fight at the end.
Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't really matter for the bigger scheme because you don't see Betty Ross again. They've recast the Hulk. The characterization of the Hulk is completely different, like how the guy plays him and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
this
true.
isn't the same Incredible Hulk that you see. This isn't the same Dr. Banner either. But yeah, in this, it's just like, Shang-Chi never grabbed me as an interesting character. He's just a bit kind of like, I don't know, he just kind of lacks direct. He's just basically like a slacker. And then you find out, oh no, he was actually trained by this guy and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, like I say, you could.
Well, they're trying to pander to the Chinese market, and then they ended up getting banned, not banned, but not chosen in China as one of the 12 movies a year that they'll allow.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was never a surprise to anybody with half a brain cell because it's like the Chinese really don't like Shang-Chi because of its connection to Fu Manchu, which was racist as fuck. I can't really blame them for that.
Understandable.
If there was something that was just like, yep, all English people are complete bastards and it's really racist against English people, I don't think I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to rush out and see that,
So you don't want to take part in critical race theory training, then we take it, or
yeah, basically.
Yeah, so
like I say, it reminded me a lot of Raya the Last Dragon, which I'd seen earlier this year because that was also free on fucking Disney Plus. And it's like, this just feels like a live action fucking version of that or something. Like, this doesn't really feel that marvelly. It's very bottom tier. It's like, okay, the father character, basically the Fu Manchu character that they go out of the way to make sure he's not Fu Manchu, basically like the Mandarin type.
Yeah.
He's pretty good in it, but he's not really the bad guy. He's just like a dupe. And the actual bad guy is just a CGI monster that everybody fights on another CGI monster. While a load of CGI monsters are attacking the Ten Rings and these other protectors of this lost. It's basically, if you ever watch it, it's a story you've seen 100 fucking times before, at least as well done, with a vaguely boring kind of Shang-Chi. It's like, this missed the mark quite a bit for me.
Yeah.
And I've not even seen Eternals.
Yeah, no, that's from the sounds, because that got review bombed by the critics, apparently, which that doesn't make sense because the critics are the ones that shill for this kind of thing. You've got people like John Campier, who's the shilliest of shills, can't seem to get that much enthusiasm for it. It's a bad day.
Yeah, I mean, when about the only good thing they could say about it is that, well, it's got very good representation. It's like, okay, but there's plenty of things that have very good representation. Is it actually a good film on top of that?
Yeah, well, you'll find that because it's a film made in the Western world, and we don't discriminate, anywhere near as much as is kind of portrayed. So when they try to put that as some like virtue, as if it's like some, unique thing, it really isn't. And then the film itself is kind of crap as well. People are going to react to it because it's not really anything special. It's just a generic superhero movie with a really terrible sort of color palette to it. It just looks dull and boring and uninspiring.
But, I mean, it's like people were kind of going on about like fan service, and it's kind of a similar sort of thing. It's like being diverse does not make a film bad. Being fan service does not make a film bad. Being a shit film that's relying on diversity, or being a shit film that's relying on fan service, it's still a shit film. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's like, because people were saying like, "Oh, Ghostbusters is really shit because it's fan service." It's like, well, it's an okay film with good fan service, so it's still a good film. Exactly. It doesn't make it bad.
No, that's definitely. I was talking about that in the last video I did about Ghostbusters Afterlife. I was making the same point. But yeah, we're running out of time. But there's other stuff coming out.
The next thing that's coming out, and it's out pretty much right now, is Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the trailer did not grab me at all, but I might give it a try.
And he's passing the torch on to a female or something. Again, it's the MCU. It's all about women because it's women's turn because men have had their day, and especially straight men and that.
I'm not quite ready to go there yet because I do know that Kate Bishop is actually like a legitimate Marvel character, but
you see a pattern emerging though, don't you?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it's like it's very easy to counter that argument, so I don't tend to go there.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much, if any, of that with the Spider-Man film. I think that's going to be very good for what it is. It's just unfortunate that it's just come out in phase 4, and because the thing is with like the Disney Plus thing, we know that there's going to be stuff that like, well, you met this character in the Disney Plus show. Did you not watch it? Oh, poor you! You didn't subscribe. You didn't pay us, and you have to sit through all that as well.
You see, I'm really not sure they're going to do that because I've got a sneaking suspicion that when we see Wanda, there's not going to be any mention of her living out, or maybe even like a vague reference to her living out a life with like a delusion of Vision. And I'm certainly sure they're never going to run into the other Vision that they were created in that show.
Well, I think they've introduced characters in the shows that they've said are going to like pop up in the movies, but how important that is, you could be right.
I still remain very fucking
because technically skeptical. They did it. Technically, they did it in Avengers Endgame because it did show you Jarvis, the butler from Agent Carter. So technically, they have, but that was a very like tiny little like nod and acknowledgement of the TV show in that. So it could be something similar, but yeah. And then there's a few of the one that looks terrible is that Thor: Love and Thunder. It's just a giant virtue signaling session of far left identity politics, and it's just like, no, I'm not into that at all. Seriously, it's not good. It's the same reason I wouldn't have like some far right messaging thrown in there as well. Because we used to see that, and I mean, I used to call that shit out back in the day when like 24 was on and stuff. I used to say it's just like right wing propaganda. It's like Fox News, but in like fictional. It's same thing. So I think these things should be escapism, not bringing in all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I said, we'll have to see. I mean, at this point, I think they really need the next like Marvel films to like make something, or else they're going to be struggling because it's not a good look when it's like, yep, all the ones up to this point made fucking gangbusters. The moment you started in a new direction, it's gone to shit.
Yeah, and they can't blame everything going on because Venom 2 did quite well, and although they've kind of technically tied that in with the MCU now, and it wasn't a very good film from what I've heard. It still showed that it can do well. And the Bond film, even though if you don't contrast it with the fact they spent loads of money on it, so it has to make loads to actually break even, that still made a lot of money. So it can be done, but it has to be a good film and it has to get word of mouth, you know. We're seriously going to have to cut it short because we're running out of time. But anything last? Give you one more minute if I can.
No, I think that's about it.
Cool. Right. Well, if there's anything else we've got to talk about, we can do. We've just been meaning to do this video because we haven't spoken about this on the channel for a long time. And obviously the negativity we've got here, that's kind of explains the reason why. So I hope that clears it up. I think I might just not even edit this video. I might just put it on as it is. Probably easier to just do it that way. But yeah, we'll probably do another video maybe before Christmas. So there's no point saying like Merry Christmas. It's like way too early yet. It's 25th of November today, so it's like a month out. So we'll maybe do another video at some point before then. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, right. So nothing else? Is that all good?
Yep. I will.
Yeah,
I'll be in the next video maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Thank you very much for watching.